Frederick Remington was born to Seth Pierrepoint Remington and Clarissa Bascom Sackrider on October 4th, 1861. His family was very active in politics and were heavily Republican. His father worked as a newspaper editor and postmaster. His mother stayed home as a housewife. Their family owned hardware stores in Canton, New York, which they moved to in the early 1700s from Alsace-Lorraine. One of Remington's great-grandfathers was a saddle maker, and his family was known for being fine horsemen. During many of Remington's early years, his father was away working as a colonel in the Civil War. Frederick Remington was not very fond of school. He enjoyed being outside having fun, exploring, drawing, and sitting outside enjoying the sights and sounds of nature, rather than sitting in a classroom listening to a boring teacher all day. When he was 11, he attended Vermont Episcopal Institute, which was a church-run military school. One subject he really lacked in was math.
Math is too hard. I can't do it. I'll never get into Yale.
He also attended art school at Yale, but he didn't like it because he found it to be boring drawing still pictures. He preferred to draw action and nature pictures rather than drawing from casts and other still life objects. Though he was not a star player, he enjoyed football and boxing and participated on the Yale football team. His participation made his family very prideful, although he had to leave Yale in 1879 to tend to his father, who was dying of tuberculosis and eventually died at the age of 46. After Remington left Yale in 1879, he did not return and lived off his inheritance and short-lived jobs until he found his passion.
Your father has passed away. This is your inheritance.
Thank you. I'm going to use this money to travel west.
His uncle first got him a clerical job in Albany, New York. Remington proposed to his girlfriend, Eva Caton, but he was turned down by her father. Remington then jumped around some different jobs for a while. At 19, he made his first trip out west using the money he got from his inheritance from his father's death to buy cattle and a mining operation, but he ended up not having enough money to start either. After that, he moved down to Kansas to become a sheep rancher, but it was much too hard work for him, and the other ranchers thought of him as a lazy playboy. He bought a hardware store while in Kansas, but it failed. After that, he became the silent half-owner of a saloon. He married Eva Caton, but she left him when he found out his real occupation of being the half-owner of a bar. He started trading his sketches and paintings when business was doing bad, and he started to see a possible career in art after much success selling his paintings. Frederick Remington started out his art career making sketches and taking photographs on trips out west. He started his career on a trip out west for Harper's Weekly. While on this trip, he made many sketches that he used for later paintings. He made notes on the colors of the photos and sketches to supplement the black and white. In his first year as an artist, he made about $1,200, which at the time was 3 times more than that of a schoolteacher. When Frederick Remington began to start painting rather than sketching was when he really started to become a professional artist full-time. He started off with watercolor, and he sold his art in exhibitions. He was hired to do 83 illustrations for Theodore Roosevelt's book, Ranch Life and the Hunting Trail. This job gave Remington's career a big boost, and it created a lifetime-lasting friendship with Roosevelt. This friendship later paid off when he was hired to illustrate the Spanish-American War for the Americans in 1898. His painting, Return of the Blackfoot War Party, was probably his first widely recognized painting. The New York Herald commented on the painting, saying that Remington would one day be listed among our great American painters. Remington tried his hand at sculpting for the first time, with help from his friend who was a sculptor, Frederick Ruckstuhl. In his first clay model, he sculpted a horse standing on its hind legs. He had bronze copies made, which gained him $6,000 over the next 3 years. After that, he took a break from sculpting for a little while, but later returned to it in the late 1890s, using the lost wax method, which was a much more high-quality way of sculpting. Frederick Remington loved the outdoors when he was young, but he was a bad student and he had trouble in school, especially in math. He started sketching at an early age, and he found a passion for art. He found that he had the most fun painting actions such as sport and natures, and he wanted to spend time outdoors and have fun in his life. He made his first trip out west when he was 19, and he loved the frontier along with horses and cowboys. His best-selling paintings were those of cowboys in the military. He liked to explore and find new things to draw, such as ranches and animals. As an American, Frederick Remington was given the freedom to explore his passion as an artist. If he had been born in another country, his life would have been very different. He may have been forced into a military life or married off at a young age to someone chosen by his parents. His career path may have been chosen by his father, and he would have been forced to accept it to support his family and not disappoint his parents. He wouldn't have been given the choice to explore different careers and ultimately become a famous American artist, his true passion. Today, he has an art museum in Ogdensburg, New York, where many of his paintings are kept, and his house was kept as a national landmark.